The markets run on time. As we've mentioned before in the previous episodes, the markets are not random. There's an algorithm behind price, and this algorithm is not random. So it's not buyers or sellers. It's not this. It's not that. One of the main components of price is time. The system behind the algorithm of the markets is time. Everything happens on a certain time. Everything is programmed to happen on a set time. Every single minute of the day, there is something planned. And certain time ranges have different functions. This video is on timings and sessions. Now, the deeper that we go into understanding time, we'll learn about macro timings. We'll learn about why time is so important. We'll learn about way more in depth. But first, you need to understand the basics, guys. And the very basics are kill zones. Now, what specifically are kill zones? Or I should say, you should learn session timings first. Session timings refer to certain trading sessions that happen within the market. Now, the very first thing I need you to do is, let me actually type this. You need to understand that the market runs on the New York time zone. Go onto your trading view, change your chart's time zone to New York. The best way to explain it is the New York time zone is kind of like English. We know that English is the mainly spoken language in the world. It's the language that is kind of international, right? So if you're a tourist and go to any other country, it's best if you speak English. And the same thing applies here, except we interchange English with New York time zone. So the time zone, also, I just realized I mistyped this here. So there we go, that's correct now. If you want to speak time, if you want to give a certain time to another trader on the markets, it should always be in New York. At the simplest and the best way you can do it is go into your charts. At the bottom right here, you can see your time zone. Tap it, UTC -5, New York. Make sure this is always on New York. This will make your life a million times easier. A million times easier. Because every single video that you watch on YouTube, every single lesson that you learn from another trader, they are going to be speaking New York. Back onto the drawing page that we have. Everything runs on New York. Everything runs on time. Now, there are specific timings that you need to understand to build a foundation, and I've written those down here. And this completely depends on what asset you trade. For me, actually, I want to take that back. The timings apply to every single market. Now, my teachings of ICT, Forex, and indices are a little bit different, and I don't want to give you wrong information. I personally do not trade Forex, but if you do, that's completely fine. I'm going to give you the exact times given by ICT and the exact times that are used by traders. So we have 3 sessions in the markets. Why does it keep just adding to that one? We have 3 main sessions in the markets. Asia, London, New York. Each session has its own functions and its own type of price action. Let's start with Asia. First, I'm going to explain everything here so you guys can get an understanding. Then we're going to hop onto TradingView, and there I'm going to show you an indicator that's going to make your life a million times easier, as it draws every single session out for you and it adjusts it to Forex and indices and also crypto. This also applies in crypto, guys. This applies everywhere. I don't care what asset you're on, even if it's just a stock. This also applies there. I'm going to light up a cigarette and let's get started. So the Asia session happens between, how do you read this? Is it 8 a.m.? Is it 8 p.m.? I think it's 8 a.m. I'm going to refer to all of these here as a.m. because I don't really know. I don't care. It starts at 8 a.m. and ends at exactly midnight. And the midnight open is a very important time, but it's not something you need to understand now, because later, the next videos later on, you're going to learn about true opens. That's where this comes in. But for now, just understand that between 8 a.m. to midnight, that's the Asia kill zone. And this is important to understand because the Asia kill zone is the first session, is the first timing in a trading day, in the 24-hour window of a trading day. And what Asia session likes to do is, let me actually type this down here. Asia usually accumulates. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger. By accumulation, all it does is it doesn't move much. It's not made to move around a ton. Sometimes, there we go. Sometimes it could expand or move, but 99% of the time, Asia session is a no-go for trading. Now, there are many people who trade Asia session mainly and are pretty good at it, but I am not one of those people. There are many strategies when it comes to Asia session trading. But once again, I don't know everything, guys. I'm gonna tell you something. If a trading mentor tells you that I know everything, guys, I know a strategy for every single session, they're completely lying. They're a scammer and they wanna make money from you. I'm a real guy and I've always been real. I've shared my losses. I've done everything there is to prove that I'm a legitimate motherfucker. Asia session is usually a no-go for trading, especially if you're a beginner. Even me as an expert, I still don't touch Asia session. And what Asia session does is it accumulates. There's a concept in the markets called liquidity. Next video is going to be on liquidity, or I think the second next one. But Asia session, all it does is it doesn't move around a lot. So you don't want to trade it. But you don't want to pay attention. You want to pay attention to Asia high and Asia low. These will come in handy in the next video when we talk about liquidity. I've just made my mind that next video we should be talking about liquidity. And then after the next video, which will be released in 2 days on the PO3 or Power Tree, everything that I've taught you will click just like that. Bam. You'll realize, wait, everything is really connected. So Asia usually accumulates. First, I'm going to talk about this here. Then when we go onto the charts and backtest this, you'll understand this fully. I'm going to move this down here so that we can have all these sessions next to each other. And then we have London. London usually goes to one side of Asia and takes it, then expands to the other and starts moving towards that direction. So far, what I'm saying here is that Asia, why is this? There we go. Asia does nothing. And then here, when London opens of intraday, it goes to one side like this, takes it, and then either starts this or it goes to the other side, and then here decides what it wants to do. But all that, let me actually turn this to, for example, white. So all London wants to do is target both sides of Asia. This here is Asia, and this here is London. And then continuing here, 2 takes both sides of Asia, then decides what it wants to do. If this doesn't really make any sense, it's because you are right now learning the theory behind price. When everything actually connects, I've planned this bootcamp in a way that the first few episodes is just theory. But then when everything clicks and you're on charts and all the theories connect, by the 5th episode, everything is going to connect. And then you'll have a new image of watching charts and understanding price action. And then the 3rd session that we have is New York. New York usually continues London, or takes both sides of either Asia or London and starts the real move of the day. This is the best session to trade for most people. It's fast, it's volatile, it expands, it manipulates, it does everything. Now, importance here, we have 2 timings. 8:30 is when New York, how do I call 8:30? Is when news release. 8:30 is the move before the real move. That's the best way to explain it. When we go onto the charts, you completely understand this. And the reason it might be confusing is because I'm explaining everything here unscripted from the heart of a real trader, from the brain of a real trader. Okay? So all of this will click once you go into the charts. All of this will click when you let it click. 9:30 is when price speeds up. It either targets highs and lows, or it flies to a direction. 9:30 is the best time to trade. 9:30, $12 at least. It is the absolute best time to trade, in my opinion, and it's the timing that I love the most. So completing this piece of art that we have here, moving this to red, New York is what does this. This is literally what New York does. So from here, I guess, this would be New York. It is the time where price just wants to expand aggressively. Now, let's go on to the charts. I'm going to show you an indicator that, as a beginner, I think, and even as me, I've been trading for 4 years. I think you should still have it on your charts. I still have it on my charts all the time. And it helps a lot to see what's going on. Let's move on to the charts. Here, a lot of things might be confusing. 19, what is this long? 19, why did we move lower here? Why was price chilling here and then it moved lower? Why was price chilling here and then here it took a low and then went higher? Why was price chilling here and then moved higher? You should always have this indicator called ICT Killzones pivots on your chart. And you can leave it on the default settings. Here, as you can see, American New York, it's set right there. You can take these 2 off. These are not going to help you, in my opinion. I don't trade them, but you can try, you can fuck around with them, see what they show you. But for me, I don't use these at all, so I don't need them. I think you don't need them either. The only settings that I would kind of I'm gonna go lower, just copy all my settings. Pretty much all you need. Here we have opening prices. You are going to need these. I haven't talked about these yet, but in the future I will. And these are going to help you. Now, here, when you're in charts, you can see exactly what I talked about happening. Okay. So Asia session is painted with blue, London session is painted with red, and the New York session is painted with green. Here, you can see that Asia session doesn't really move around a lot. London targets Asia lows, moving a little bit lower, and then distributing to one side. New York is where the fast speed comes in. New York says, okay, we've already been above this high here. We've taken the high in London. Now it's time to reverse price. Exactly at 9:30, New York AM, bam. You can see how price speeds up. Here, take a look. Asia doesn't do much. London starts to move higher. 8:30 on news release, you can see we have a move higher, taking this high. We've just been going higher the whole day. New York, fast price action lower. Some days it doesn't do much, but those days we will also talk about in the future, because there are some days you don't want to trade. There are some days you do want to trade. Here, once again, Asia, not a lot of movement. London, just moving lower. New York opens literally in like 2 minutes on one candle. Again, we're on the 15-minute time frame. It takes this low, flies to the other side. Here, Asia expanded. It's just been a bullish day. So these days you don't want to touch. Here also, same thing, Asia expanded. It's not the best trading day, but as you can see, the same concept does apply. New York is when the fast price action starts. Same thing here. Fast price action starts on New York. And as you can see, London took both sides of the Asia range. Here, Asia range, not much of a movement. London takes the high of Asia range, and New York, bam, very fast price action. Here, London doesn't really do much. New York expansion, we had a very big Asia range too. Just a tip for you. You do not want to trade big Asia ranges, and you will understand why in the future when you learn about the power tree. The power tree is extremely important when it comes to price. Here, again, small day, nothing much to see here. Moving back, Asia range, not much done. London takes the high of the Asia range, and then New York is where the fast price action starts and completely nukes lower. Very shallow and not a lot of movements here. Again, fast price action starts in New York. Fast price action on New York. And it's the same pattern every day. It's the same timing every day. Here you can see that as well. Now let's move on to Bitcoin. Okay. The Bitcoin is literally the same thing. On 9:30, we took a short here on New York. But look here. Asia, big movement. Now Bitcoin is not as much respected as indices or Forex are. Bitcoin is digital. It is digital. It does what it wants. But the same concepts still do apply. You can see New York being extremely fast, New York being extremely fast, New York being extremely fast. Here, New York it's going to slow. Here, New York doesn't do much because we have news later on. So those we'll also talk about in the future videos. And the same concept does apply here. If you trade in alignment with Killzones and session timings, you will have a way higher win rate. Now, moving on to Forex. Same thing here. Literally the same thing. Literally the same thing the more we go around. And I'm just going to move back, let you can see it for yourself. It's the same thing. So, as a beginner, I recommend you trade indices. Indices such as NASDAQ are the absolute best to trade as a beginner. And Even for me, as someone who's been trading for years, I prefer NASDAQ over everything. It has the cleanest price action. It's just gnarly how clean New York can be. I hope this video helped you. But if you didn't understand much in this video, I completely understand it. I completely get it why you didn't understand much. And it's because not a lot was said. You were still a beginner. In the next episode and in the one after, everything will click for you. Join my Discord if you want to be privately mentored by me. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps.